Hello students, welcome to KENE'S Educare, a group of KENE solutions. This is part 2 of lesson number 7, Diversity in Living Organisms. Now in part 1, I have already told you the meaning of diversity means the variation or the differences that exist among living organisms. Now, how do you come to know that we are a human being, that is an animal, it is a plant? How do we come to know like this? Because we have given some characteristics to each and every living organism that is existing, right? Plants ko you can characterize them because they are green in color, right? Then you have many things that you know that plants are green in color, they are using sunlight, water and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and they are making their own food through the process of photosynthesis. You are aware of that the plants do not locomote, they don't move from one place to another, they give us oxygen, right? They have leaves, they have stems, they have roots. So these are some of the characteristics that we know about the plants, and that help us to recognize that yes, this is a plant, right? And if it comes to human beings, we all are aware of that we human beings, we have our hands, we legs, we talk, we smell, right? We speak. So this is how we are classifying a human being, you can say, right? Then when it comes to animal, we recognize any of the animal with respect to the sound that it has, with respect to the body structure, right? So there are many different characteristics that we keep in our mind, and we use that, you can say, for characterizing or for figuring out a certain characteristic of any of the living organism, right? Even we have microorganisms ko bhi we characterize in some or the other way. Then we have unicellular organism, we have multicellular organism. After that, we have prokaryotic organism, we have eukaryotic organism, and there are many more things that we are aware of and that exist, which is helping us in diversifying, in finding out the knowledge on this diversified living organism. Okay, because the living organisms are very much diversified, and to characterize each and every individual is very much difficult, right? And that is the reason you have your own name. So if someone calls you by your name, you know that yes, you have to answer, you have to reply to that individual, because आप भी हो, there are many individual. अब just imagine that there is like no one is having their name, then how are you going to call that individual as? So everyone will be in a confused state, right? So that same thing occurs with all the organism that we have millions of living organisms which are present on the earth, and classifying and studying each and every animal, each and every species is a very difficult task. So earlier scientists, they were finding it very much difficult. They knew yes, this is a microorganism, but because it was not known what is the species of their microorganism, so they have to go on and find out the species of that microorganism. After finding the species, they have to find out the family, class and everything of that certain animal or microorganism. So all this thing, it was becoming a hectic task for the scientists. And here comes one man known as R.H. Whittaker Sir. Okay, so R.H. Whittaker Sir is one great scientist. Like, he was also figuring out all these things. He was also fed up with all the things that were coming up. People were all like having a question mark that how we can solve this problem of us, because this is a quite good like the the solution to this problem was very much necessary, and an immediate response was needed on this. Okay, so for this, what happened, R.H. Whittaker Sir came with classifying the kingdom. Like, he classified 5 different kingdoms. So what he did, the plants, he had put all the plants in one kingdom, and he had named that kingdom as Kingdom Plantae. Then all the animals, they came under one kingdom, that is called as Kingdom Animalia. All the fungi, or you can if you call it as fungi, I call it as fungi. So all the fungi in one kingdom. Okay, Then we have kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, where we have unicellular animals which are put all together. So now ek cheez kya ho gayi, now suppose you have a cupboard and everything is mixed there. Okay, your tops, your jeans, your shoes, and everything is mixed, and you're unable, you will be, it will become very much hectic and difficult for you to find out any of the thing, right? अगर आपको टॉप मिल रहा है तो you will not get the jeans that you want to wear below. You're not getting the skirt that you want to wear below, right? So this is the problem that occurs with our cupboard. The same thing the scientists were facing the problem. Okay, so if they are getting one knowledge about the microorganism, the other was missing, and that is found, the other is missing. So this was a chaos which was made up. So R.H. Whitaker sir, what he did, he उन्होंने वही cupboard में क्या किया, he made certain blocks. So he made 5 different blocks out of it. The first block was for kingdom Monera, second block for kingdom Protista, third block for kingdom Plantae or kingdom Fungi, then kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. So these are the 5 different kingdoms which were made by R.H. Whitaker sir. So now what happens, आपने kingdom Monera में अपने t-shirts डाल दिए, ठीक है, kingdom Protista में shirts डाल दिए, then kingdom Fungi में आपने अपने shoes डाल दिए, kingdom Plantae में आपने अपने फेवरेट ड्रेसेस डाल दिए, एंड दिस इज हाउ यू आर सेपरेटिंग इट आउट. नाउ आपको वो पूरा क्योस में से ढूंढने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. आई हैव सेपरेटेड इट ऑल, तो आप ये छोटे से क्योस में से अपना फेवरेट चीज़ ले लो जो भी यू नीड. So this is how a solution was formed by R.H. Whitaker sir, where he had made the certain kingdoms. Now when it comes to kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia, it was again a hectic task, because kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia has ample amount of animals and plants which are present, right? So it was becoming very much difficult to find out the plant and to find out the animals, कि कौन सा animal it belongs to whom, which class, which family, okay, then कौन सा plant is belonging to which class. So it was very much difficult. So what R.H. Whitaker sir did is, उन्होंने kingdom Plantae को based on the evolution. Now if you see, as we are moving ahead, जैसे जैसे the time is moving, what is happening, evolution process is gradually taking up, evolution होता जा रहा है, we are evolving a lot, right? So this is how, as and when the evolution is going on, the organisms are changing their characteristics. Okay, so kingdom Plantae has 5 different divisions. कितने? 5 different divisions. We have Thallophyta, Bryophyta, then we have Pteridophyta, we have Angiosperms and Gymnosperms. These are the 5 different classes of kingdom Plantae which came up, जहाँ पे हमने एक का पार्ट ऐसा बनाया which was seeds bearing, एक पार्ट ऐसा था who were not bearing the seeds, and this is how all the studies were going on with respect to plants. And when it came to animal, what we did, हमने क्या किया, animals को 10 different phyla में divide कर दिया. So we have 10 different phylums of animals which are being given, and we find that, okay. So this is how the animals were again differentiated into 10 different phylum, and the plants were again distributed in 5 different classes. So at least now you should have, after we have discussed the part 1, you should be knowing this basic knowledge. What are the 5 different parts of the or classes of kingdom Plantae, and which are the, I know the names are a bit difficult for y'all because this is the starting stage. So names will be difficult for you all, but as and when we are discussing it again and again, what happens? They are going to stick into your mind. Okay, but for that, you will have to do your revision, you will have to do your work. Okay, and that too, the work should be a sincere work. Sincerely, if you write down all the names of the phylums 10 times now, they're going to fit into your mind. Okay, and if not all, at least few of them will fit into your mind. Okay, now see what are we going to study here. Now if you can see the chart or the diagram which has been given here, whenever you see this diagram now, the first word that will come or pop up your mind is the term evolution. क्या आना चाहिए आपके mind में? evolution should click your mind. Okay, so time is the key factor which helps in development of complex organism from the simple one. Now there is a simple organism. What is happening, as and when the time is going on, the time is the one major key factor that we are having that helps us in developing a complex organism from a simple one. If you can see the chart, the starting ones which you can see, animal like being human apes, right? These are our ancestors from which we human beings have been derived. So earlier our ancestors used to look like this, then slowly and steadily the posture of our body changed, and this is how we have developed a complex, like we are a complex organism now, right? So, time plays a very crucial role here because it is helping us in developing the complex organisms. So, Charles Darwin, he was the first one, जैसे R.H. Whittaker, he was the first one who has given the idea. You can say he has given the idea on what? He had given us the idea on, he has given us an idea like R.H. Whittaker, he has worked on the five different kingdoms, right? So Charles Darwin, he was the one who has given us an idea of evolution. किस पे idea दिया इन्होंने हमें? Evolution पे idea दिया है. So here the idea was of evolution. It was given in the year 1855, and he has clearly mentioned all the ideas that he had in a famous book named as Origin of Species. What is the name of the book? I want you all to write Charles Darwin, right, then put a dash, write idea of evolution in 1885, and then put a dash and write the name of the book, The Origin of Species. Now if you get time or if you get a chance to work on it, I will I will just like if you'll go and study on this, because it's very important that whenever you get a chance of going on with something different, because जो हम रोज करते हैं, that is not teaching us anything new, right? If we go and study on different things, that brings to us quite different kinds of knowledge, right? So Charles Darwin, he has written a book in the year 1855, and the idea of evolution came from there, and now people are like very much evolved. People are having ample amount of knowledge which is never going to end. From where the knowledge comes, we are the people who are bringing out the knowledge, and then too it is so much difficult for us to, you can say, so that feature you can say is like इतना knowledge we people are bringing on that if you are working till your life ends, आप कितना भी knowledge का like you take, it is not going to be sufficient. You will be still left with one or the other thing. Okay, so those organisms who have Asian design and not changed much, they are primitive organism. Now we are not left with this primitive organisms, because we all know that the person who is born dies as well, right? So now we have, like, because of evolution we have come very ahead, and this primitive humans or the primitive organisms we don't have now. So the organism who have this Asian designs like this one, this structures like this, the where the posture of the body is bended type, now we have a straight posture, but these organisms, they had a bended postures. Okay, so the organisms who have this ancient design and they are not changed, we call them as primitive organism. What do we call them? Primitive organisms. So those who acquired certain special character during the time period, we know them as advanced or higher organism. What did I said? Those who acquired certain special character during this time period, that is during evolution, we call them as advanced or higher organism. Now we are advanced organisms, we are higher organisms, we are the complex organisms that I am talking about. Okay, we are very much complex, as in when you move ahead with your okay, you can say what we have, like ample amount of opportunities which are available in front of our eye, and slowly and steadily what is happening, we organisms are becoming complex, harder to study, harder to rectify. We are not even aware of what the people are thinking in front of us. But now we are into 2022, right? So now we are having ample amount of you can say possibilities which are coming in future, where people will be sitting at one place in different countries, different states. They are going to have something on their eye, and abhi to physically we are watching, like you are listening to me, and we are having a video conferencing where we can watch each other, we can have a look on each other, right? So उस वक्त using that technology, what is going to happen, our mind even is going to go there, we will be there with them in their country, we will be celebrating and we'll coming back here. Okay, and this technology that is coming up is the metaverse. Meta means beyond and verse is universe. Okay, what it is, metaverse means beyond the universe. So as and when we are moving, the evolution is taking place, the technologies are gradually growing, and हम बहुत ज़्यादा आगे जा रहे हैं. There might be possibilities that you will see people living on moon as well. So अभी हमें, we have our you can say, now we think of going on to uh, मॉरिशस हमें जाना है, हमें दुबई जाना है, हमें यहाँ जाना है, वहाँ जाना है. But later you will see that people have an urge of going on moon. They will be planning their trip to moon, and I guess like when if it happens, moon is going to be the most uh, you can say tourist attraction. It is going to be the greatest tourist attraction that we are going to have if survival on moon becomes possible. So evolution ho raha hai, we are becoming more advanced, we are becoming more complex. Okay, now see, now we have already discussed about this, like we have heard about the desi cow and the jersey cow, right? And obviously baat hai, if the names are different, so desi cow is a different cow and a jersey cow is a different cow. Okay, so we have certain properties on the basis of which we just differentiate between a desi cow and jersey cow. Okay, so like the properties, like we'll see the horn, the color of the cow, the production that it gives, the yield that it gives. So there are many different properties that we are going to look on, and we are going to differentiate between a desi cow and a jersey cow. Okay, now see, what we are going to study today is about the biodiversity. Now bio means living and diversity means variation. Okay, bio means what? Bio means living and diversity means variation. So we are going to study here in this biodiversity, the living variation that exists on earth, that is existing in our universe. Okay, so biodiversity means the diversity of the life form, the diversity which is existing with the living form is biodiversity. And biodiversity is a word which is commonly used to refer the variety of life forms which are found in a particular region. बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक कॉमन वर्ड है, हम क्यों यूज़ कर रहे हैं इस वर्ड को? सो दैट वी कैन refer to the different kinds of life which are found in a particular region. Okay, so diverse life form, now we are having many different kinds of life forms, right? So this diverse life form, it shares the environment and they are affected by each other too. What happens here? Diverse life form, it share the environment and they are affected by each other. Okay, so as a result, what happens, because we are all affected by each other, we are sharing a common environment, a stable community of different species, it comes into existence. What happens because of this diverse life form? A stable community of different species, or we can say that different animals and different species come into existence. So we are having a stable community. Can you, like, do you know of any community which is striving hard for its survival? No, right? We are all having a stable community for now. So humans have played their own part in recent time in changing the balance of such communities. Now if the community is well stabilized, we humans are responsible for it. But if the community is like, you can say, fighting for its survival, or it is becoming a challenging task for them, then there also the humans are only responsible, because we humans are playing a very big role here in changing the balance which is existing between our communities, because we are the one who is harming the organisms which are present, right? Animals are neither hurting us, they are not doing anything to us, but it is we humans that we are doing some or the other thing with the communities, and we are making them imbalanced, right? So of course, the diversity means the variation in such community, it is affected by particular characteristic of land, water, climate, and so on. Now when this type of communities में जो type of diversity exist करती है, that diversity is affected because of the characteristics of land, water, climate. Now if you know one incident which has took place in one of the city, where people were like, it was I don't know it is true or not, but it has been heard that people were trying to change the direction of the river, because of which the whole state has to suffer by the flood, because the direction of the river was changing. So we were changing the characteristics of the land, water, and the climate. So here all the diverse community which existed in those particular region is going to get affected, because we are changing the direction, we are changing that is naturally existing on earth, and if we are changing it, then the diversity will be imbalanced and it will be affected as well. Okay, so rough estimates state that there are about 10 million species on the planet. How many species do we have on the planet? We have 10 million species on the planet, although we actually know only 1 or 2 million of them. Okay, अभी हमारा planet Earth जो है ना, that is very vast, that is very big, and we have more than 10 million species जो हमारे planet पे survive कर रहे हैं. But you know, we are still not aware of many of the species. हमें कितने पता है? We are only aware of 1 or 2 million species. कितने पता है हमें? We are only aware of 1 or 2 million species which are available on the planet, and rest of the you can say species के बारे में we are not aware of. Okay, so the warm and humid tropical region of the earth. अब हमारे earth पे कैसा like our earth has which kind of region? It is having a warm and a humid tropical region, right? And this humid tropical region, why is it so? Because it exists between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Now you might be studying geography as well, right? So I want you all, after this class, or if you are having your book right now in front of you, Earth is having this humid tropical regions. Why? Because it is between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. I want you all to see this Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn on the map of India. Okay, so they are rich in diversity of the plant and the animal life. Okay, so because of the tropical regions, the warm and humid tropical regions that exist on earth, what is happening? We can see that there is a rich diversity which is existing between the plant life as well as the animal life, and that is the reason plants ko we are further classifying into 5 classes, and animal life has been classified into 10 different phylums, because there is rich diversity which is being found with respect to plant as well as animals. Okay, and the region where we see that there are many different diversities of plant and the animal life which is existing, we call that region as region of mega diversity. What do we call? Region of mega diversity. Okay, so I want you to write this. Region of megadiversity ka definition. The warm and humid tropical region of the earth between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. They are rich in diversity of plant and animal life, and this is called the region of megadiversity. So from the warm till megadiversity, and you need to take a note of this as well. Biodiversity, it means the diversity of life form. Okay, so these two statements are very important. I don't want you all to forget these two statements or the two sentences which have been given. Okay, please write the point that I have told you right now to take a note of. Okay, I hope you have taken a note of it. So this the region of the mega diversity and biodiversity, have taken note of it. Now, of the biodiversity which is existing on the planet, now one thing I want you to be clear with: biodiversity means, bio means living and diversity means variation. So the living variation is biodiversity. Okay, so the of the biodiversity on the planet, more than half is concentrated in few countries. ठीक है, so more than half क्या है, it is concentrated in few countries, that is Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Mexico, Zaire, Madagascar, Australia, China, India, Indonesia and Malaysia. So whatever kind of biodiversity is existing on our whole planet, पूरे बायोडाइवर्सिटी में half of them is concentrated in this few countries which I just stated now. Okay, so you can at least try to remember 4 to 5 year. ठीक है, at least try to remember 4 to 5 names here. ठीक है, and India, China, Australia, Madagascar, Malaysia, Brazil, you can at least remember these names. Okay, so this was all about biodiversity. I hope you are clear with it. Now the next thing that we are having is the hierarchy of the classification, which include groups. Okay, so we will be discussing from your different types. So see, the hierarchy of classification में, hierarchy, I hope you know what is hierarchy. Hierarchy means जैसे आप family tree बनाते हो ना, you have your grandpa and grandmother, from there you get your father and then you get your mother, right? So that is how it goes on. That is the hierarchy that you get, and from your father and mother, it is you which is present, right? So this is the hierarchy that I am talking about. Okay, so here we are going to discuss the hierarchy with respect to, what? With respect to the kingdoms that was given by whom? Who has given us the 5 kingdom system? It was given by R.H. Whittaker sir, right? I don't want you all to forget the name of R.H. Whittaker sir, because the whole concept of diversity, it was given by whom? It was given by R.H. Whittaker sir. Okay, so don't forget his name, because an objective can be asked to you all with respect to this. So always remember his name. Now the hierarchy that I'm talking about, now we have studied the kingdom. We have 5 different kingdoms, right? We have kingdom Monera, we have kingdom Protesta, Then we have kingdom, you can say, after that we have kingdom fungi, we have kingdom plantae, kingdom animalia. These are the different kingdoms that we have discussed on. तो किंगडम के बाद क्या आता है, वी नो दैट एनिमल्स, अभी किंगडम के अंदर सारे एनिमल्स आ गए. अब फाइलम में वी सॉ दैट वी हैव 10 डिफरेंट फाइलम्स फॉर किंगडम एनिमेलिया. सो किंगडम के नीचे क्या है, फाइलम. फिर फाइलम से क्लास आता है, then the order, then family, genus, and then the species. So this is the hierarchy or the group that we follow for every kingdom. Okay, so biologists such as Ernest Haeckel in the year 1894 and Sir Robert Whittaker in the year 1969. So see the difference between the year. Ernest Haeckel, he has given in the year 1894, and Robert Whittaker sir in 1969, and Carl Voice in the year 1977. All of them, they have tried to classify all the living organisms into broad categories which we call them as kingdoms. ठीक है, तो Robert Whittaker sir, Ernest Haeckel, Carl Voice, they were all trying to classify the living organisms. Okay, and this living organisms, they were trying to classify them, and this all started from the year Ernest sir started doing it. That is from the year 1894 से ही they have started like categorizing all or classifying the living organisms into broad categories, which we call it as kingdom. So can you see the largest part, that is the broadest part, is the kingdom. Now few of the animals, they will come under this phylum, few will get divided into phylum, is going to get divided into class, class से will get order, order से family, family से genus, genus से species. This is how we are categorizing or we are classifying the living organisms. Okay, so the classification Whittaker proposed has 5 kingdoms. How many kingdoms Whittaker sir have proposed? 5 kingdoms. We have kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. So these are the 5 different kingdoms which are widely accepted. Okay, on you can say it is widely used as well. So these groups, they are formed on the basis of their cell structure, mode and source of nutrition, and body organization. तो ये जो different groups हमने form किया है, वो किसके basis पे form किया है? On the basis of the cell structure that we have, on the mode and the source of nutrition that we have, as well as the body organization. Looking at the body organization of the different animals, we are classifying them into different groups depending upon the nutrition ka source that they are having. Like we have carnivore, we have herbivore, right? These are the different, you can say, carnivore, herbivores. These are different groups or the criterias on the basis on which we are characterizing the plants and the animals, and we are dividing them into kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Okay, so the modifications was introduced by dividing the Monera into Archaebacteria, or it is also called as Archaea, and Eubacteria, which is also called as bacteria. ठीक है, तो वूज ने कौन सा मॉडिफिकेशन यूज किया था? ही हैज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड द सेम लाइक किंगडम मोनेरा वी आर हैविंग, राइट? But whose in the year 1977, he have further divided this kingdom Monera into Archaebacteria, that is used for archaea, and Eubacteria for bacteria we are using it. Okay, so whose sir ने क्या किया है? Monera को और दो इसमें divide कर दिया, that is Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. Okay, now the further classification is done by naming the subgroups at various levels as given in the following scheme. So for kingdom, phylum, first of all what we have a kingdom. I want you all to take a note of it. First of all क्या होगा? हमारे पास एक kingdom होगा. Let's state kingdom is for animals, like kingdom है. Kingdoms के अंदर if we are classifying the animals, we are going to call that as phylum. If we are classifying it for plants, we call them as division. Phylum for animals and division for plants. After phylum we have class, class के बाद we have order, order के बाद we have family, family के बाद genus, genus के बाद species. So these are the different criteria or the characteristics on the basis of which we are segregating or separating the animals. So few of the animals, like we have our own family now, on the basis of the family the community is divided. Then we have genus, we have species. This is how what happens is we are like separated from each other, and there is not a chaos which is occurring between us, right? So thus by separating the organism on the basis of hierarchy of characteristics into smaller and smaller groups, हम क्या कर रहे हैं, by following this hierarchy and by separating the organism on the basis of hierarchy, हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम सारे organisms को और छोटे से छोटे ग्रुप्स में डिवाइड करते जा रहे हैं, so that we can at least arrive at the basic unit of classification at last, which we can call it as a species. What we can call it at the end, we can call it at the end as species. The species is a small unit or the basic unit that we get by dividing or separating the species or the organism. Okay, so what organisms can be said to belong to the same species? ऐसे कौन से organisms हैं जिनको हम बोल सकते हैं that they belong to same species? So broadly if I tell you, a species is going to include the organisms who are going to be similar enough so that they can breed and perpetuate further. तो एक species के अंदर ऐसे सारे organisms आएंगे जो एक दूसरे के साथ breed भी कर सकते हैं. They will be similar enough so that they can breed as well as they can perpetuate in that environment. Okay, so I want you all to make this hierarchy in your notebook. I'll give you 2 minutes for this. Make this hierarchy fast. Right, kingdom, then we have phylum, class, order, family, genus and species. Okay, this should be into your mind. If I ask you what is the hierarchy of classification, this thing should be into your mind and you should say it clearly and fast. Okay, because this is one of the important concept that comes in biodiversity, which is separating the organisms into different groups. Okay, I hope you're taking a note of it, and I want you all to go like it should be into your mind. Okay, So I hope you have done this. Okay, now the first kingdom that we are having, that is kingdom Monera. But before that, let's discuss what we have discussed till now. So Robert R.H. Whittaker, that is R.H. Whittaker, he is the one who has given us the five kingdom system of classification, and this was given because it was becoming very much difficult for the scientists to study with respect to different microorganisms, different plants and different animals. Because if we are not having name, what is going to happen? We will be confused, right, about whom we are talking about. The same thing was happening with the scientists. And with this, when the scientists and researchers, when they were carrying forward this group, what was happening is, जब भी ये कर रहे थे, what was happening is, suppose they have studied one animal today, like dog. Now dog का जो same species है, if I am discussing all the species that comes under this, like dog के category के अंदर जो भी animals आते हैं, if I'm studying on about the dog, the same characteristics will be followed by all the group of animals that come under this dog species. Okay, so I don't have to study them separately. So this is the benefit that we have got because of this. But there are certain, you can say, glitches also which were found in this five classification system. Let's see if you have got that. But there are certain disadvantages as well, like those are not disadvantages, we can call it as limitations which were been given to this system classification. Okay, so if it is there in your syllabus, well and good. If it is not there, I'll try to discuss it with you all. Okay, because if you are studying something, you should know everything. What are the limitations, what are the advantages, what is the application, where are you going to use that. And don't forget about this hierarchy that we are having. Okay, because hierarchy is something important that we need to discuss on. You should know the hierarchy, how the kingdoms are further classified as phylum, class, family, order, genus and species. Okay, now this figure 7.1, it includes it includes kingdom Monera, an example, that is bacteria. Okay, so kingdom Monera ka, these are the characteristics which have been given. If you can see the 6 points which have been mentioned below, these are the characteristics of kingdom Monera. Okay, so these organisms, they do not have a defined nucleus or organelle, nor do any of them show multicellular body design. So kingdom Monera के अंदर ऐसे organisms को डाला गया है जिनका न्यूक्लियस वेल डिफाइंड नहीं है, जिनके ऑर्गेनल्स वेल डिफाइंड नहीं है, ना ही वो कोई मल्टी सेल्यूलर बॉडी डिज़ाइन शो कर रहा है. ओके, किंगडम मोनेरा के अंदर क्या आता है? ऐसे organisms, the organisms who are not having a well defined nucleus nor any organelle. Now if nucleus and organelles are not there, they are not going to show any kind of multicellular body design. Okay, on the other hand, they show diversity which is based on many other characteristics. So all the organisms that come under kingdom Monera, they are going to show diversity, that is variation, and this variation is going to be based on many different characteristics that we will have to discuss on. Okay, so some of them, they have cell wall while some do not. So you will come across some organism under this kingdom Monera who are going to have cell wall. Now I told you that they are not having a well defined nucleus, right? What did I said? जो हमारा like kingdom Monera के अंदर जो organisms है, they are not going to have well defined nucleus, they are not having an organelle, they don't show any multicellular body design, neither they have a cell wall which is being present there. Okay, but you will find that some of the organisms, they can show this cell wall, while some of the organisms will not have the cell wall. Okay, so of course, having or not having a cell wall has a very different effect on the body design, right? And here, from having or not having a cell wall in multicellular organisms. So if you compare it with the multicellular organisms have it or not have it. But when it comes to this, you can say, जो भी हो, if the cell wall is present in an organism that comes under kingdom Monera, so that organism, because it is having a cell wall, the effect on the body design is going to be different, right? If it is not having a cell wall, the effect on the body design is going to be different. So the mode of nutrition that the organism is having in this group, it can either be synthesizing their own food, that is they are autotrophic like plants, or they are getting it from the environment, that is they are heterotrophic. Okay, व्हाट डिड आई जस्ट सेड कि किंगडम मोनेरा के अंदर जो ऑर्गेनिजम्स होंगे, आइदर वो अपना फूड खुद सिंथेसाइज करेंगे, दैट इज इट कैन बी प्लांट्स, बिकॉज प्लांट्स आर दी ओनली वन who are synthesizing their own food, and we call this plants as autotrophic, right? Or they get it from the environment, that is they are heterotrophic like animals. They are getting their plants by, like they are getting their food by eating the other animal, or they are eating the plants itself, so they can be heterotrophic as well, right? So the group under Monera, or the organism under Monera, kingdom Monera, it includes bacteria, then it has blue-green algae, which we also call it as cyanobacteria. क्या है? एक तो it includes bacteria, then blue-green algae को we also call it as cyanobacteria, and we have mycoplasma. क्या है हमारे पास? Bacteria. I want you all to remember the example of kingdom organisms which come under kingdom Monera. So it includes bacteria, it has blue-green algae, it has cyanobacteria as well as mycoplasma. And some example has been shown in the figure 7.1 that you can see it on the screen. This is a bacteria which is an example of Monera, and we have this Anabinae. Okay, after that, this Monera के अंदर, this group, it includes many kind of unicellular eukaryotic organism. ओके, तो किंगडम मोनेरा के अंदर जो ऑर्गेनिजम्स आएंगे, दे आर गोइंग टू बी यूनिसेल्यूलर यूकैरियोटिक ऑर्गेनिजम्स. तो यूकैरियोटिक ऑर्गेनिजम्स के पास ही सेल वॉल नहीं होता, राइट? एंड दैट इज द रीजन दे डोंट हैव, लाइक सम ऑफ द ऑर्गेनिजम्स दे माइट बी हैविंग अ सेल वॉल, some of them might not be having a cell wall, but they are going to be unicellular. It means they are going to be made up of only one cell. Okay, so some of these organisms, they use appendages. Now appendages include cilia and flagella, right? So कुछ organisms, as I said, they will be having cell wall, they will not be having cell wall. वैसे ही some of the organisms, they are going to have appendages, like we can call as hair like cilia or whip like flagella for moving around. So the bacteria that we are having, which is unicellular eukaryotic organism, that can have appendages, like appendages may I can call it like cilia and flagella, because they, that part of the organism is going to help them and move from one place to another, right? So their mode of nutrition, now what are they, this bacteria is eating, what is the mode of nutrition, how they are satisfying their nutrient need. So here the mode of nutrition, it can be autotrophic or it can be heterotrophic as well. What is the mode of nutrition? Autotrophic or heterotrophic. Okay, so the examples of these organisms are unicellular algae, we have diatoms and protozoans. Okay, so unicellular algae is an example of this. We have diatoms and protozoans. If you can see, we have the example of paramecium, we have amoeba, and we have protozoa. क्या क्या है? Paramecium, you can even call it as paramecium भी बोलते हैं इसे हम. Then we have amoeba, it is unicellular organism. Okay, and lastly we have this euglena. ठीक है? So I want you all to take a note of this, whatever I am writing it on the screen, so that you have a short note which is ready with you all to go on in during your exam time. Okay, so see, आपको क्या लिखना है? किंगडम मोनेरा के अंदर दे डू नॉट हैव डिफाइंड न्यूक्लियस और organelle. Okay, then do not show multicellular body design. You can write that some mode of nutrition can either be autotrophic. It can be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Okay, then you can write an example, right? Even you can write that some organisms have cell wall while okay, you can write that the example of it is bacteria. I'm showing it if you for this one to you can say kingdom, and rest you have to write it on your own. Okay, I'm not going to write it for every part, every, you can say every kingdom, but you should have a note like this with you so that it becomes easier during the exam time to go on with this. Okay, and then पीछे क्या लिखा हुआ है that they are unicellular eukaryotic organisms, right? What are they? Unicellular eukaryotic organism. Then you need to write that they have appendages like hair like cilia and flap like flagella. Okay, and here you can write the mode of nutrition. I already told you. Example, you can write it of this. Example, you can write as unicellular algae. Then we have diatoms and protozoans as well. Okay, so we can write a note on this as well. Okay, so I hope that you are clear with kingdom Monera. Now in the next part of this lesson, diversity and living organisms, we are going to start with fungi, the kingdom fungi. Okay, so we have discussed about kingdom Monera and kingdom Protista. So this was about the kingdom Monera, and this was about kingdom Protista. So this is the Paramecium, amoeba and protozoa. These are examples of kingdom Protozoa. Okay, and now in the next class we are going to start with kingdom Fungi. We have kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. So there are little characteristics which have been given here that we are going to discuss later in this lesson. Now it is pretty well good that you're not having much characteristics, because when we go on discussing all the characteristics now, you will get confused. Even when I was studying the characteristics of all these kingdoms, because I have studied this, I think so during 12th, I had this specific kingdom. And if I talk about the other boards like SSC and all, there they have kingdom Plantain detail. Okay, because kingdom Monera, kingdom, and all these characteristics they already have discussed in their 8th standard. So in ninth they have kingdom Plantae, where it includes 5 division: Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperm, Angiosperms in detail. And then in 10th they have this kingdom Animalia in detail. Like they are going to discuss all the characteristics of 10 different phylums. So it becomes a chaos, and studying all the characteristics all at once is a very huge task, because all the characteristics usually says that it is a unicellular, multicellular, eukaryotic, prokaryotic, have cell wall, don't have cell wall, have flagella, have cilia, they can locomote, they cannot locomote, they are autotropic, heterotropic. These are the certain concepts which they are concerned with. तो सारे phylums में ये सारी चीज़ें ही आती हैं, and it becomes difficult to go and study all those things. Okay. Hello. Okay, so we have kingdom Animalia, which is the last kingdom that we are going to discuss on. But this five kingdom classification का जो table दिया हुआ है, where they have shown that the organism, the living organism, is divided into two. That is, we have prokaryotes and we have eukaryotes. So prokaryotes में we have unicellular organisms, and it includes kingdom Monera. And eukaryotes are further divided into two. We have unicellular organism and we have multicellular organism. So here in eukaryotes, we have eukaryotic unicellular kingdom Protista, and then multicellular we have of two kind, one with cell wall and the other without cell wall. So one with the cell wall, they are going to perform photosynthesis, that includes kingdom Plantae, and the one who doesn't perform photosynthesis, that includes kingdom Fungi. And without the cell wall, we have kingdom Animalia. What do we have? Kingdom Animalia in place. Okay. Okay, so this is how we have this multicellular as with cell wall and without cell wall, and we have three kingdoms which have been included here. We have kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. After that, we have this kingdom Plantae in detail. You can say we are going to discuss about the kingdom Plantae. So kingdom Plantae has five main divisions that we are going to discuss on. We have Thallophyta, then secondly we have Bryophyta, after that we have Pteridophyta, the fourth one that we have is Gymnosperms, and the fifth one is Angiosperms. So these are the five different divisions which comes under kingdom Plantae. Okay, and this is the chart that you need to go on before we start on with this. So when I start with kingdom Plantae, first we will be discussing this chart, and after that we will be studying one and all the characteristics one by one. Okay, so that you get the idea that how you have to study. Okay, after that we will be discussing about the kingdom Animalia, where we have 10 different phyla. So we have phylum Porifera, phylum Coelenterata, which is also called as Cnidaria, then phylum Platyhelminthes, phylum Nematoda, phylum Annelida, phylum Arthropoda, phylum Mollusca, phylum Echinodermata, phylum Protochordata, and Vertebrata. Now Vertebrata is again divided into 6 classes. So we have Cyclostomata, Pisces, then we have Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves, Mammalia. These are the 6 different classes of you can say phylum Vertebrata that we have. Okay, so I hope you are clear till here. So when we start discussing about the kingdom Animalia, we are going to start discussing about this chart, and after that one by one we will be discussing all the characteristics as and when it is necessary. Okay, so I hope that you are clear with now till now. Okay, so after that we have, after discussing about the kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia, we have these things to discuss, like the summary in short we will be discussing about, and then we have 6 different questions to discuss, like what are the advantages of classifying the organism. Then we will be discussing on key how will you choose between the two characteristics which you are going to use it for developing a hierarchy in classification. Then we will be discussing the basis for grouping the organisms into 5 kingdom, and what are the major divisions that comes under this kingdom Plantae, and what is the basis for division. Okay, then the next question that we have is the criteria for deciding the divisions in plant which are different from the criteria for deciding the subgroups among the animals. And lastly we have this, how we are going to explain it, ki how the animals in vertebrata we can further classify them into subgroups. Okay, so I hope that whatever we have discussed till now in this lesson, diversity in living organism, is been clear to you. Okay, now in the next class we are going to continue with the rest of the part which has been left for this lesson, diversity and in living organism. Okay, thank you everyone.